What's up, y'all? Welcome to Fury Talks. I am your host, Seth Fury. So today I have an especially special guest. Why is she so special, you might ask? Well, because she happens to be my ex. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be thinking, how are y'all even in the same room together? Aren't y'all supposed to hate each other? Y'all must still be fucking. And the answer to that question is no, no, and no. We are just friends. We've been this way for a while. So with that being said, allow me to introduce my guest, Bambi.
Hi.
Hi, Bambi.
Hello.
So Bambi and I dated like 5 or 6 years ago. Yes, we had our ups and downs, as does everybody. You know, obviously it didn't work out for us, and not every relationship is meant to last forever. But fortunately, 5 years later, we were able to come to a place where we can be just friends, and we can do things like this and actually do a podcast together. So why do you think we were able to stay friends?
We didn't become friends right away. It actually took a few years. Actually, I think it took
Years,
three good years where we were not talking. And it was so funny because whenever I would see you out, I'd just be like, nope, no. Because I still felt like, you know, I had not feelings, but I was still mad.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think after those few years passed, I just kind of got over it. And I was like, you know what, I don't hold grudges, and I do end up staying friends with a lot of my exes, and I don't see them that way at all.
So the biggest key factor you would say is time.
Yeah, and also we weren't like, no one cheated on anyone, no one did anyone wrong, you know? It was just a thing where we were at different stages in our lives that we couldn't continue.
And that's what I always say to people. It's as long as the relationships don't end tragically, like there's nothing that you can fully go back to and remember, I hate this person for this particular reason.
Right.
Like we never had any of those moments. Like there was never, nobody cheated, like you said.
No.
It was really just two people that were trying something new, trying to see if we could find a connection. And although we did for a short period of time, it ran its course. And then at that point we said, okay, the mature thing to do to salvage some sort of relationship, whether it be down the road in the future, would be to separate now. And I think that's what most relationships fail to do, because they just stay around way too long until it just gets heated up and it gets crazy. Since you and I were very public with our relationship, you know, we had the pictures on the gram, as y'all just seen, and people liked us together because, you know, they got a sample of what they saw. Visually, we looked great together. And so they were like, I'm rooting for that couple. You know what I mean? But they don't know all the details that go into these relationships. So when you let people in, what obstacles do you feel like we had to face that probably wouldn't have existed if we didn't expose our relationship to the public?
I think if we weren't so public about it, we probably would have broke up earlier.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me why. I got my reason.
The reason is because you've put your relationship out there now, and you know, it's so public, and you've been showing off this wonderful relationship this whole time, and now you're kind of like stuck trying to keep that image, trying to hold that image, trying to like pretend that everything's good. And plus I kind of liked the fact that, you know, we did like look good together, and I thought that that was a thing that we could use
professionally.
So I think if it wasn't so public, we would have definitely broke up way earlier.
I 100% agree. So when you put yourself out to the public like that, people look up to you. They hashtag goals, couple goals, you know what I mean? And you, it feels good to feel that. You know, a part of you will ignore the reality of what's actually going on because you want to live up to this hype that they're giving you.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So a funny story, I never told you this. When me and her broke up one of the times, because we did a couple back and forths. One of the times we broke up, I was like, you know what? I'm over this. Like, it's time for me to move on. You know what I mean? Like, I need something else for myself, right? And we were both feeling that way. And I went to work, and I was doing massages at this party, and I see this girl across the room. Beautiful girl. And I'm like, we locked eyes with each other, and it was like the whole room just went black, and it was nothing but her and I. She's walking over my way, and I'm saying to myself, thank you, God, for finally sending me somebody that's gonna get me away from where I'm at now. So she walks up, and I'm thinking, this is my moment. This is my moment. No.
Is that how you feel?
I was trying to get out of a relationship, and that's super hard when you have your feelings and you love somebody. Like, it's not easy walking away. So she walks up, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Seth. And she's like, I know who you are. You're Bambi's boyfriend, right? And I'm like,
yes!
Yeah. She's like, I love her. Can you please give her this bag of makeup? Because I think she'll, and I'm sitting here like, wow. So basically, you're a
So there's no
fan.
chance.
You're a fan of my girl or ex-girl. So she's like, "How are y'all?" So I was like, "Well, we're great." I wasn't about to look like a fool and say I broke up with the girl you idolized.
Great.
Yeah. So I kept going along with it.
See?
And
There's
that's
the
what happened.
pressure.
It was a lot of pressure, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should stay with, this prize as everybody sees it, because everybody just, that you have this prize woman and you want to make it work regardless because the public says it has to work.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing that I went through, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never even gave you that bag of makeup either. I was like, took that makeup and threw it out
Where's
so
my
quick
makeup?
in the trash.
What? I didn't get the same thing from you. Like, people wouldn't approach me the same about you. With
guys?
you, yeah.
No, of course they
guys
yeah.
hated you. They hated you, and any chance they would get to like clown you because you were with me was like they would do it.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because it was like, damn.
You know what? In all honesty, I will say this much: you did hold me down and like actually defend me pretty well. Because that's one thing. A lot of times guys will, of course, talk about your current boyfriend because they're trying to make him look like a punk so that he looks better in their eyes. But Bambi would tell me, hey, they were trying to talk about you. I said, hey,
yeah,
man,
I did,
you held me down. And I was
did.
like, you know what? It felt good knowing that she was out there having my back, because guys are ruthless.
Yeah.
You don't often hear guys saying, hey, girl, I'm so happy for you in your new relationship. Unless they're your actual friend, like me.
How many of your exes are you friends
Not
with?
a lot, actually. Yeah,
No?
I mean, no, because some of them, we stayed together too long and they did crazy stuff. So when I think back on them, I remember that. I remember them showing up at my job, trying to get me fired, trying to get me kicked out of my house with my roommates. I remember those things. And so...
What'd you be doing to these girls?
Nothing. Come on now, you know me. I'm the most calm, level-headed person ever.
I think that's what drives them crazy.
Of course, because they're
You're
crazy.
calm, like you're just nonchalant.
Yes.
That will drive any woman crazy.
Yeah, because they want you to react on their level of anxiety.
Because it just shows that you don't care.
But I do care.
When you don't react.
That's a thought.
In a woman's mind, it shows that you don't care.
In a crazy woman's mind, they feel like
we're all crazy.
True. So with that being said, I think that
We all have a little crazy in us.
So my way of being has always been to some a way of, used to say I was passive aggressive a lot. That was your favorite word. I didn't even think I knew what it meant until I met you. Being passive aggressive. And I was like, how am I being passive aggressive? Like, I actually...
Because you had that like nonchalant attitude.
That's what yes.
I was like, just give me something back.
So, fortunately, like I said, it didn't get too bad, but with my other exes, it did. So I wasn't able to really sustain relationships with them because I just felt like, based on what I got to know of them, I just didn't like them as a person. You know what I mean? Bambi, I like as a person. And although we don't date romantically, I can still always have good thoughts of you as a person. And that's the most important thing. So that's how you maintain a relationship with your ex. Also, if you're going to be the ex, this is the biggest key. You have to acknowledge that you are their past. And you cannot continue to try to, intrude in their future and try to have some kind of ego trip in which you feel like they're somehow a property of yours as well. So when you move on, my biggest thing is, okay, be free. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to come back around and be like, hey, this used to be my girl. This is like, I'm somehow in the picture. No, I'm gone completely. I will just stay in the background and wish you the best. The difficulties of keeping a friendship with your ex is if they do things that are disrespectful to the new relationship. Let's say they, continuously call you at, inappropriate hours of the night, or, they're still commenting on your pictures and saying things that, a current boyfriend wouldn't be comfortable with. If you actually want to maintain a friendship with your ex-girlfriend, you have to be respectful of that, because that's the only way that the new guy would ever be like somewhat okay with it. So even though, I'm comfortable being her friend, she's the one in the relationship.
And I'm comfortable being his friend.
Exactly.
Very
but
comfortable.
The new boyfriend is always going to have their own ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you are in a relationship, because no matter how much I tell them, like, he's my friend, trust me, he annoys the shit out of me. Like, he's like,
Thank you.
You're like borderline, like, you're gonna be put into, he's like a brother, which I can't say because we dated.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel about you now.
Yeah.
So, but obviously with your image and the way that you look, like, they're like, what? And your profession,
Yeah.
you're a massage therapist, they're like, they don't believe that.
And I think the biggest reality is years of a pattern of how other guys have acted. Most ex-boyfriends are exactly what your current boyfriend would imagine. Most of them are. And honestly, even when I get into a new relationship with a girlfriend,
any, like really crazy ex-boyfriends.
not you in particular, I'm talking about like in general, most ex-boyfriends are not often as cool with the idea of letting their girl go.
Right.
And when you come across somebody like that, like myself, it's not always the easiest thing to believe as the current boyfriend, you know? Because in his mind, he's like, yeah, it all sounds good, but it could very well just be his way of just, exact. So that's kind of what it, yeah. So I'll always understand their position, and I'll never try to rebut it. I'll just be like, okay, if that's the way they feel, sure. If I need to maybe even distance myself a little further, and if that relationship ever comes to an end, you know, then maybe we can come back together and be friends again. But I won't ever try to impose myself so much that she has to now end the friendship, period, because I was so aggressive in trying to have it my way. So you have to be mindful, like you don't call the stakes anymore. You're just the ex.
It's also my responsibility to make them feel as comfortable as possible.
Exactly.
You know, it's not all on you. Like, I'll do my part to make sure. I mean, if they say they feel uncomfortable with something, then I'm not going to do it.
There you go.
Just out of, you know, respect. And that should make them feel, you know, secure.
Next question for you. With you being a model and being in the public eye, and, you know, a lot of your pictures are more, they can be sexy. You know, they're not trashy or raunchy, but they're sexy. You know, you show a little bit of skin.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if that...
I try to keep it classy.
You do? Do you feel as if that ever, you know, caused any issues in your relationship? How do you help that?
With that, I've never been like, you know, the type to, you know, do a butt shot or whatever.
Okay.
I try to keep my pictures as classy as possible. I've always done that. If it's in lingerie or a bikini, it's because I'm getting paid to do that. And I explain that to my significant other, my partner, and they'll usually understand. Because I already came into the relationship with this, like, career. You know, this was already my job. They already kind of, like, knew what they were getting into. So it's just, you can't just all of a sudden change the rules because...
Yeah. So the reason I posed this question, somebody else has wrote in and asked this as well, and I thought it was so relative to what we went through before, because with me growing up on the East Coast, I wasn't in this LA lifestyle. This was before Instagram ever existed. I always had the mentality that nobody gets to see my girl but me. I was old school, right? And I believed in that. When I moved out here, and social media started to happen and become a thing, I started to realize that may not be something you can hang on to for too long, right? And then I met Bambi, and she, like she said, she was doing those photos well before I met her. So you have to be mindful if you're going to meet and date a girl that's already exhibiting a certain lifestyle, you can't come in and then just try to change stuff up.
Right.
Because now you're just going to be infringing on her money, her career, and she'll resent you. But on the contrary, I remember that I started to dabble in a little bit of modeling myself. And I remember some girl reached out and wanted me to do a commercial for a belt, right? Now, in this commercial, it was a fitness belt. I had to be shirtless. I had a little bit of baby oil on, sure. I wanted to let the muscles glisten.
Oh my God,
okay?
I lost it.
And I remember, you want to talk about hypocrisy. I couldn't believe.
No, but you didn't start off that way. You didn't start off that way.
So I evolved into something that I felt I could do too.
So
I had good looks. I had muscles. People wanted me to model for their stuff. And so when she reached out, I said, okay, you know what? This will be great. I know she's going to support me. I mean, I've been so supportive. And what happened? I posted the video. I sent it to the girgirl.
This is why I don't date Instagram models anymore.
What you mean? So
that was one time and one time only.
So you're saying that any man that dates you has to be mindful of that's your career and he has to just accept it. But if he happens to do something similar, you ain't accepting it. I guess that's your choice.
It just came like I guess I never dealt with it before. It was the first time that I've ever like you know, tables had been turned on me, and I was like, oh my God.
She lost her mind.
Oh my God, I lost it.
Yeah.
But the thing was that didn't start off doing, like, we didn't come into the relationship
I can't
with
evolve.
you doing that. Yeah, of course you can, but like it just came out of left field.
So
I like punish you.
Yeah. So we fought for a while over that.
Gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, there ain't no way you gonna tell me I can't put this up after all the sacrificing.
Okay, but listen, I had another like relationship where my boyfriend at the time was also like fit.
Okay.
But that was his job. That's what he did. You know, that's already like, they had already been established. I had no problem with him like being shirtless. I didn't mind any of that.
Do you?
Because I already like knew that that's what it was. But you come in here, all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I could do this too.
Yes.
I was like, what are you doing?
And I did it pretty damn well. But let me ask you, okay, so do you feel like, because I mean, just listening to this, it definitely seems like there's definitely some hypocrisy going on. Because
no,
generally,
it's not hypocrisy. It's just like it just came out of fucking left field.
The reality is this: you're a very pretty girl, and you've known this your entire life. Any relationship,
I've not known this my entire life. So
you've known this in your entire adult life, right? Any relationship you get in, you are generally the beautiful one in the relationship. People are generally very happy to have you on their arm.
Oh, so
right?
you were saying, are you about to say that you were the beautiful one in a relationship?
In my relationships, not with you, not with you. In some of my relationships, I've gotten that kind of attention. I never try to put myself on a pedestal, but I don't also feel like I'm the rut of the relationship either. So in this case, I feel like you finally got a little taste of your own medicine.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah, because it's real easy to say, you got to accept me for me. This is my career. Yeah. And then as soon as he wants to make a little money doing that stuff, the whole world comes crashing down. Ain't that something?
So, Seth Fury.
Yes.
All the ladies want to know.
What y'all want to know?
Why are you still single?
I am still single because I just don't jump into relationships like that. Like before you, I didn't have a relationship for like 4 years. Like I'm just very, very selective with who I want to call my everything, you know? And if I can go out and about and let's say I'm talking to a girl.
I think you're very mature for your age.
I like to believe so. I mean, I always dated older. So that was just something that kind of came with the territory. But if I'm out and about and I find myself, let's say I'm dating a girl, but I'm in the club and I'm still looking at other women, I'm still thinking, oh, I want to talk to her, I want to talk to her. That to me is my natural instinctual indication that I am not...
Seth wants to dabble.
No, it just tells me that I'm not fully invested into that girl I'm talking to. That kind of is what lets me know I still have wandering eyes. When I first met you, I remember being in the club, I was at Playhouse, and there were all kind of beautiful women, and my boys were like, hey man, go talk to her, go talk to her. And all I could think about was, why would I want to talk to her and potentially mess up something that I think is better than that? Like that I already have interest in. So that's why I felt like, okay, let's go explore this. I don't get that feeling often. So that's why I'm still single, because yes, I meet lots of women just in my everyday walk of life, but they don't all do that for me, you know? So, and when the time comes and when it happens, I'm ready. You know, I don't had all the years of experience and, you know, learning about myself and, you know, fixing myself and, you know, I feel like I'd be a phenomenal boyfriend for whoever that person is, but it's not gonna be something that I rush whatsoever.
So what would it take? What kind of girl do you like? What's your type?
I would want a girl somebody that would obviously believe in me, somebody that would, you know, make me want to do better for myself, someone that was, you know, fun, somebody that I could see as my friend as well as my companion, somebody that had some kind of goals and direction for themselves. Like I can't be with a girl that simply is relying
all about you all the time.
Well, not even that, but somebody whose entire livelihood is riding on my success. If there's not something that you can bring or, you know, motivate for yourself.
In this time, in this like generation right now, I feel like there's a lot of independent women.
No. Maybe your crew. But there's a lot of women out here that...
So do you meet a lot of women that don't have their shit together?
I meet a lot of women that are looking for a way out. They're pretty, they know it, and they feel as if that should be all they need to make it in this life. So they match themselves up to NBA players and baseball players. And if you're just a regular guy with an entrepreneur job and you're just making money, that's not enough for them. They need the limelight.
Oh, so you going for the...
Well, yes.
Hot
well, not
girls.
even. I mean, here's the thing. Listen,
You in the wrong city, boy.
No, here's the thing. My friends are always telling me that I'm super picky, and that
you are.
Fine, whatever. You know what?
So
I feel
picky.
as if
I think that's good.
There's nothing wrong
with
with having
good
standards.
Because, you know, if you're in the wrong relationship,
you're gonna be
wasting your energy. You're gonna be wasting your time. You're gonna be stressed out, and all this time that you could have, you know, spent doing this. Amazing stuff. And you're now spending like arguing with a person.
Exactly. And I'm not saying it's pickiness in the way that they look. I come across beautiful women all the time. That's not the case. It's their personality and the way that they treat me. Yes, I'm going to be very picky on that. I'm not going to let some of the stuff slide that I may have let slide in the past in other relationships, because now I've learned that coming from that, you don't want to go back into something that already didn't work. So yeah, I'm picky in regard. I have to be attracted to them, of course. But once I meet them, they have to have certain personality traits. They have to be selfless. They have to be similar to the way that I feel like I am to them. And then if I meet that and find that, I'm off to the races. And I can't wait, you know?
Okay.
And then hopefully she'll let us be friends.
Right.
You know? And I'm going to have to
second
explain to her how Bambi is just an old friend of mine.
Oh.
And she's here to stay.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Because we go way back. All right, y'all. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Bambi, thank you so much for being a part. It really means a lot. Tell everybody how they can find you.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Dearbambi, like you're writing me a letter.
There it is. Thank you guys so much again. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Let us know what you guys want to see next. Follow Bambi. Follow Fury Talks. We'll see y'all next time. Later.